Good morning, everybody. Welcome to January 20th, 2017. And on a little bit of the sadder news this morning, I think right now what you're watching is going to be the last vlog clip I ever film on the original vlog camera, just because it took it so long to boot up and whatever today that I was literally fighting with it for like 15 minutes to see that if I could even bring it back to life. So I think that this actually might be the very last clip that I ever get to record on the original vlog camera, which is a little sad because the thing was in my pocket for so many days. I mean, we're on the third year. And so, yeah, for nearly 2 years, this thing lived in my pocket for just about every single day. Yeah, kind of a long life, kind of a lot of footage, too. I mean, there's 90 hours of footage on there. If you even say that 85 were shot solely with this thing, yeah, that's a bit. But apparently, the camera is on its last legs. I might try to show it off a little bit later with the big camera what's happening, which is right here charging. But I thought I'd just pull the card out and give it one last farewell to the camera that lived in my pocket. As much as I like this thing, I have been kind of considering getting a smaller camera again, like this one, to live in my pocket for days when I need it to be able to carry something around. As much as I love this thing, and it has really good quality, it's very bulky, and so I've been considering doing that. But for the moment, I'm just going to rely after I end this clip and remove the card solely on this. But vlog camera, thank you. It has been a wonderful 2+ years of doing this. And I'm going to cut this clip and rejoin you from the other camera in a little bit. Goodbye, old friend. So just to kind of show you a little bit what's happening now over here, this is the old vlog camera, and one of the things that has been happening for a while, as you can probably notice, is that the touchscreen really doesn't work at all anymore. Like, I can't actually go in and adjust any of the options really anymore, which is kind of a pain for a camera that only has touchscreen operations, because at least this one has some sort of manual control operation. Like, I can switch the daylight here or the manual focus to here, so I can, go really beyond on focus, but that doesn't help us right now. But regardless, I can still do that, but this camera has nothing of the sort, so it doesn't have anything to save. But the more important problem recently is that the screen has not been properly detecting like movements or whatever. So you can see it's kind of working for the moment, but if I turn it back towards me, you can see it doesn't rotate, it doesn't flip. You can see it's still on in there, in the lid, and it normally would turn off while it's in there. It's completely upside down there, and there's a chance that if I turn it back on, it's probably, or turn it off, so we get to film the final boot screen where it says the words upside down, and if we boot it back up again, yeah, it is not responding to anything I have to do. Even like through shutting it. Oh, did it come back on early there? It kind of did, but it's still upside down. That was less effort, probably because it's at least slightly warmed up now from usual. But yeah, I think it honestly might be time to retire this poor camera. Oh well, it served a good life. But at least its replacement is ready to take over. Okay, so on to some more normal Friday-ish business that you might notice if I close the door. My laundry hamper is basically empty because I took care of most of my laundry. The last 2 loads are in now. So that's happening. In terms of vlogs, the one from yesterday is exporting now, like I showed last week. The one from the day before is uploading now. So vlogs are pretty much done. Those first 2 on the list are already out. And then also I have another surprise in here for Sarah when she gets here, because she usually comes on Friday. And that's this. This is usually where it's set up to run the Minecraft server, but I actually took it over because the server actually can be controlled remotely now. So even though the tower still needs to be here, I don't actually need to have a setup to accommodate it. Because I wirelessly remote in here more than 99% of the time nowadays. And since she's living in here, it only really makes sense to have a setup in here. So this is theoretically what her setup will look like, except for the fact that this laptop cannot power that display. It's about I picked it because it's a Dell in a similar size and shape to the one she has, so I knew what it would look like, but she can substitute any keyboard or mouse we have in the house, or even her own if she wants to. The laptop is sitting on a little docking pad with fans, which is nice because her laptop has pretty bad cooling, so more fans are always appreciated. And then, of course, a nice, fairly large display for her to work on. It's not very high resolution for nowadays, but it still works, and that's kind of the important thing. This laptop can't display it because this laptop only has an HDMI out, but her laptop doesn't even have an HDMI out. It only has a mini display port, which is what this is for. Yeah, I have a nice little adapter for that, so she will be able to power this display, hopefully, when she gets here. But, yeah, that'll be fairly soon. It's after 5 o'clock. It's 5:10 now. So, yeah. She's out of work and should be here fairly shortly. But in the meantime, I'm going to go try to take a quiz or something, just to keep some of the productivity moving. I've done 4 things on my to-do list for this weekend today, and I want to try to do at least 6 or 7. The first 4, actually no, I've done 5. Yeah, because the desk was on there. Obviously the vlogs were being worked on because, well, I'm filming 672 or 762. But yeah, that volcanology quiz is probably first priority, and then it's going to be on to papers. Yeah, fun. But I've got work to do this weekend. Well, at 5:40, it is time for us to go, because it's just a little bit later than it was earlier. Now, we're going to go head to the train station and go pick up Sarah. Because it's just time for that to happen. There's a lot of traffic out now, which is why I like to leave so early, because it's kind of important. But there's always a decent bit of traffic out here, isn't there? Yeah, something like that. Well, whatever. We're out of here now. Time to go through all of this nonsense just to go down to the train station. But it's an important reason. It is fairly important indeed. Right? Right. Something like that. Something like that indeed. Okay. It's not actually raining anymore. It was significantly earlier. It's just still slightly damp everywhere from it because it rained for so much of today. So thankfully I don't need to worry about rain at the current moment. However, I don't think we're completely out of the clear yet, just because it's still misting a little bit, which is why the wipers themselves are still on. But, well, we'll worry about rain again if it starts eventually. But as I think I mentioned earlier, tomorrow we have to go downtown for a site visit. Actually, I don't know did I mention that on the vlog? I'm honestly not certain. We'll talk about that a little bit later, probably tomorrow when we go to go do it. But just note that that's happening. We have to go do a few things downtown tomorrow. Important to note, but not terribly important for the moment. So, without further ado, let's go pick someone up. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back home. Glad to be back?
Yes. Today was really boring at work, though.
Well, let's go home. Well, are you ready for the thing I promised?
Sure.
I converted the server station into a desk for you.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You have a place to work now.
Oh.
A dedicated place, so you don't have to take over my desk.
Thank you.
You're welcome.